So hello everyone, and welcome to our series of short sessions where we're going to interview some of our domain experts. So our goal is to expose insights that could turn into something actionable for you and your organization. So here we go. There's a big interest in the adoption of using inspection forms within Application Suite Manage. Many clients are finding unique uses and benefits to taking advantage of this function. So the forms are easily created, they have version control, and can contain logic to guide the inspector through the questions and answers. So I have with me today Darren Kwasnycia. He is one of our highly experienced utilities consultants, and we've taken him away from work to talk a bit about what he's seeing and how clients are using inspection forms. And interestingly enough, though, many of his clients are using inspection forms to keep up their compliance with the typical myriad of regulations within their industry. So Darren, welcome and thanks a lot for your time today.
Hey, John, thanks for the invitation. I do appreciate it. And hello, everyone on the line. It's exciting to be part of the first podcast of this new series. John came to me, was asking, what's kind of topical now? And there really has been a spike in interest of using inspection forms as a whole. I was just on a call yesterday where it was more driven around operator rounds. But again, the inspection forms was a very viable solution. But as you mentioned, John, a lot of it has been initially was driven by regulatory compliance. Clients calling us asking for, a solution to this problem that they're having, maybe not even aware that inspection forms exist. And then when we start talking about the capabilities, the light turns on and we end up, driving to a solution that seems to work really well.
Right. Yeah, very good. That's great. All right, so yeah, let's kind of continue that conversation and talk about this adoption that you're seeing with these clients around inspection forms. It seems to be pretty popular these days.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes a story helps get the point across. So I'll focus on a scenario. I'll keep it generic, but something that we ran into for a customer. So this particular customer reached out and said, "Hey, we're starting to see regulatory penalties, obviously financially implied, and they really couldn't figure out kind of what they were missing. They did have a lot of things right, as you would traditionally set up a Maximo, but things were still slipping through the cracks. So they did have PM set up. They were getting notification that these regulatory requirements were set up at certain timeframes. They were still getting them done, but despite the reminders, they were still seeing, deficiencies in reporting, lack of consistency, inability to translate and prove that the inspections were actually done. So when we started to mention inspection forms as a solution, the client started to kind of see, okay, I see where maybe that fills those gaps, and hopefully it does get to the point where we're the holes that it's slipping through, those are actually being avoided.
Right. Yeah. Very good. Yeah. So they kind of discovered the functionality out of need, right? So
You got
that's
it.
great.
Yep.
I encounter a lot of requests for demos and such around the inspection forms, and it's really amazes me, how kind of new the idea is for so many clients. And I'm
Yeah.
really glad to see when these relatively new functions, really get so quickly adopted by folks.
Yeah.
So Darren, you mentioned the use of preventative maintenance function there in Manage, something we're all very familiar with. Using it as a reminder vehicle. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, I can, John. So sometimes it's probably a bit of a terminology issue. When you think about preventive maintenance, you think about preventive maintenance and not necessarily a mechanism for letting you know that something is due. Preventively due, but we can use it generically to let us know anything's due. So if we do have regulatory requirements, let's say inspections that need to be done annually, not to exceed 16 months, It's an excellent tool for putting that type of control in place. We can set up our constraints. We can set our start no later's, and no later constraints. And Maximo is now making sure that we are aware of these requirements. Again, a lot of customers leverage this part of it, but they were still missing some things. So we'll kind of get into where that falls apart. But yeah, always think of the PM application as a tool that really lets you know something. It's time to do something, and not necessarily constrained to just preventive maintenance work.
Right, right. Yeah, no, that's a great point as well. So it also intrigues me, so often there's so many built-in functions. They can be used in a lot of different ways, other than perhaps what their name infers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And and the PM function is a great example of that. So, yeah, so let's kind of shift gears a bit here and talk a bit about the methods used to collect the data that ultimately is used for reporting the compliance or not with whatever regulations. Any thoughts in that area?
Yeah, I do, John. And I kind of think that's the culmination of where things eventually break down. Again, customers do have that mechanism for letting them know something is due, whether they're putting it on a calendar, whether they're using PM and Maximo. But they kind of lacked consistency in the way that they collected the data. And part of it was Maximo's fault. We didn't have the best tool for doing that. A lot of people would use job plans, but then it was kind of restrictive in what it could do. Customer would say, well, I need to measure tolerances and limits, and it doesn't really let me do that. They kind of could start doing it with maybe meters. But so what they would do, they create spreadsheets. Some people would write it on paper. Some people would, file it away. Some people would lose it. Maybe it was captured on a screenshot. So creating this consistent way of capturing the data became super important, and it actually resolved all of those issues. The inspection forms has matured over time. So even when it first came out, there were holes where a customer couldn't collect certain pieces of data. So it wasn't a full solution, but now it's matured to the point where really, I don't think there's many things that you can't capture on an inspection form that a regulatory organization would be looking for. So yeah, it kind of was, your control, your organization, your revision, everything was all controlled with that inspection form and stored in a consistent format, which is bottom line, what the customer is looking for.
That's what you're looking for. Yeah, and certainly folks have used, like on a work order, they'll use classifications and attributes to actually capture, data as well, which is fine.
Long description work.
Or long description, yeah, it's another one attachment, yeah. So we've worked around it in a lot of ways, right? So, great. Yeah, so it really does come down to protecting that collected data, and we talk about reporting a lot, but beyond just that, but it could be for legal purposes, auditing, even you can consider some of this data intellectual property, if you will. So, so auditing, we bring that word up, so we might as well talk about it. It's kind of a big deal and certainly a time consumer in a lot of cases. What have you seen in that area?
So, John, this is typically where the failure happens. This is where the customer kind of can't put it all together. It is probably the most important part or time to actually put it all together. So an auditor comes on site and they want to see proof that you've been doing, let's just say, a regulatory inspection. And the customer knows they have, their goal isn't to not complete regulatory work, but they just can't pull it all together because it is on a spreadsheet. It's on someone's computer. Bob wasn't there this week and he had all the data. So this is where it kind of comes together. The inspection forms that are created are standardized. They're stored in a way that creates consistency in where it is. So again, in this one use case, the customer would take the results of the inspection form and actually push it off to their SharePoint. It would be filed by date, by regulation number. So if an auditor came in and said, I'm doing an audit based on this regulation, they would be able to see every document created in that in a nice standard folder, consistent printout, report style, and really does end up satisfying the auditor, where the auditor starts asking less questions because you are so far ahead of the game when it comes to standardization on reporting.
Yeah. I having experienced a lot of ISO 9001 audits in the previous companies I worked for. Yeah, those auditors, they like to have that information right there at hand. So that
Yeah,
bodes well for the recertification, if you will.
sure
So
does.
yeah, as you're talking, it kind of brought me back to the an old mantra we had, right? Is, say what you do what you say, prove it, which is what you just talked about, and
Yep.
then of course, improve it. So
Yes.
nothing ever happened unless it's reflected in the paperwork, right? So
That's right. Yep.
all right. Okay, so talk a little bit more here. So, the adoption of inspection forms, like we talked about, it's rather straightforward. I mean, creating them, managing them, and then deploying them. It does require some thought, right? In the light of your current, manual processes there. And we're pretty confident that if you look into the use of inspection forms, even if you just do a proof of concept, you'll see the immediate value, and it may solve a problem that you actually have. So, like to have the opportunity for TRM to have the chance to demonstrate this functionality for you. Make contact with us, and we can do that. And maybe we can even help you refine your inspection and regulatory compliance processes. The advantage here is using the tools that you already have. So be sure to contact us at trmgroup.com. We're all over LinkedIn as well. And we, of course, have a YouTube channel where we actually have some videos on this subject as well. And we're certainly looking forward to more conversations on this subject with you. So I want to thank you, Darren, for your time and your insights. It's always good talking to you. And, any closing comments, thoughts for everybody?
You too, John. It's always, good to have these conversations. Happy to connect with our customers. Really appreciate you guys joining these sessions.
Right. All right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one. So thanks everybody for your time and enjoy the rest of your week.